Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Thank you for joining me once again because we are going to be discussing very intriguing stories today in Arsenal news. We're going to be discussing Nicola Shearer and Fabrizio Romano confirming that there is a bid made by Arsenal to Fiorentina to sign Vlahovic immediately in January. We'll also be discussing the ultimatum that we've been given to sign Filippo Coutinho and Bruno Guimaraes, again confirmed by Fabrizio Romano on the Transfer Here We Go podcast. But of course, we'll also be discussing the likelihood that Newcastle could sign 4 players from Arsenal: Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Eddie Nketiah, and a couple of others. Make sure you join me in the comment box, lads, there by discussing your thoughts on the transfer market. Do you think we are actually doing the right thing? Do you think we are too slow? Or do you think we are actually moving at the right pace? And of course, Mikel Arteta could be back on the touchline very soon. And our Carabao Cup fixture, I will be doing previews today, but definitely it might be postponed. Why not do smash a like on the video, do subscribe to the channel as well. We are on the road to 36,000 subscribers, and of course, do not forget that you guys make this happen. You're making this channel really grow, and I'm really appreciative of that. Right, let's get to the content. We're sponsored by the beautiful people from Melbet, and they're saying if you want to bet with them, if you want to earn some money, do bet with Melbet. Link is in the video description, and of course you'll be winning lots of bonuses if you use my promo code Cossy, there COSSY in capital letters. Make sure you do that, and it will be very good. Bet responsibly. Do not bet if you're under the age of 18, and please do not stake anything you cannot afford to lose. Your capital can go up as well as down, so be very careful and wary of gambling. Strictly 18 plus. Right then, guys, let's get to the content. Let us start off with Filippo Coutinho. Barcelona have set an ultimatum to Arsenal that until the next 24 hours, that is when we have to decide whether we will be taking in Filippo Coutinho or not. Now, of course, we know we are much interested in the player there. We love Filippo Coutinho. Mikel Arteta loves Filippo Coutinho. The first contacts have been made. Everything has been talked about. I do not know what is happening between then and now, why we are not seeing any progress in the Filippo Coutinho deal. Xavi yesterday did come out and did show that they're really desperate, not only for Filippo Coutinho to leave, but also to sell some players in January. So what is happening at Barcelona is that they need to register some players, but in order to do that, in order to register new players in their squad, they will need some exits in January. Filippo Coutinho is the priority man, and of course Fabrizio Romano has said he looks at Filippo Coutinho and his destination is going to be the UK. It's going to be in the Premier League. Now, he didn't say that it's going to be Arsenal. It could be Newcastle. It could be Arsenal. It could be any other club. But he said it looks like Dembele and Filippo Coutinho will be moving to the Premier League. Now, Barcelona are desperate. They really want to register Ferran Torres, and they want a club to take Filippo Coutinho as early as possible. Now, what is happening? Arsenal are not really very active at the moment. That deal, seems like a little bit stalling. It looks like it's quiet at the moment, and that is what Barcelona are saying. You said you want the player, now come for him. They have given us an ultimatum of 24 hours to either decide whether we take the player or we do not. And for me, guys, I think this is really a very desperate move from Barcelona, because they can't do that to us. They can't tell us that we are getting this guy, we are getting this man, Filippo Coutinho, on a potential loan deal. It's not a permanent transfer. It's a loan deal, and it's a deal that really benefits Barcelona more than it really benefits us. Yes, we do need a midfielder, but there's so many out there. We're already in talks with Jorginho Wijnaldum to see that we can actually take him there at Arsenal. I do not see the urgency. I do not see why we should really panic if Barcelona have set an ultimatum for a loan deal for a player that has really grown so old and has really not played any wonderful football in the last 2 years. My opinion there is that Arsenal should take their time with that deal. Whether we sign him, whether we do not sign him, whether we sign him early or we sign him late, that should be after us taking a lot of thought about it. So Barcelona there, they should not pressurize us. But of course, we have been given that ultimatum, and we've got to think about it if Coutinho will be joining Arsenal. Story number 2 is still about ultimatums. What is happening today? Bruno Guimaraes, Lyon, have said it is 45 million euros or none, and they are saying it's not going to take the whole January. Arsenal have to decide very, very soon whether they're gonna pay this money. Oh no. Now Fabrizio Romano on the Transfer Here We Go podcast did come out and confirm that yes, Lyon have received the offers. They have received the interest. Now they understand there's a lot of interest from clubs for Bruno Guimaraes. It's not only Arsenal, there are also other clubs that Romano didn't say actually, but he said, look, it is 45 million euros or nothing. That is what is being told, that Lyon will settle for only 45 million euros. If not that, the player will be staying with them until the summer. And even in the summer, it's going to be the same story. 45 million euros or nothing. Now, what I do understand with Bruno Guimaraes is that he doesn't have a release clause in his contract. I'll try to double check. I'll try to cross check with that. But I can confirm there that he doesn't have a release clause in his contract. Lyon really want to sell him. If the money really comes in, I think it's going to be in the summer. But in January, if the money comes in, if a bid that is really, really astronomical, of course, they've already said that they want something astronomical. They want something that will really, really move them. For me, around 45 million euros for Bruno Guimaraes. Again, it's another young central midfielder. I don't think it's a bargain. 40, 38, that's a bargain. But 45, that's not a bargain. I just think the price is right. If you get in Bruno Guimaraes for 45 million euros, remember, we bought in Thomas Partey for 45 million euros as well. So I mean, it's something that really, really balances. We will have a midfield of 90 million euros. That is expensive, really. But if you look at the quality of Bruno Guimaraes and Thomas Partey combined, 90 million euros, you've really, really cheated Atletico Madrid and Lyon. That midfield should be worth 200 million. Just imagine, Bruno Guimaraes there, a young player that's going to really, really develop well, into one of the best central midfield products in the world. And then Thomas Partey, already a player who has developed into one of the best midfielders there in the world. I just think Arsenal is a no-brainer. Even if it's 50 million, even if it's 60 million, I think it's a no-brainer. Bruno Guimaraes, if you look at my list yesterday, 5 midfielders Arsenal should be signing. Did you watch that video? Make sure you do go there, watch that video. I said, number 1 should be Bruno Guimaraes, should be the priority. He's a hybrid of a midfielder. He's a player that we want, a player that we need, a player that we must sign. So Fabrizio Romano, they are confirming that Arsenal have been given that ultimatum and the price has been set. Do not take a lot of time. And if you come in with 45 million euros, that is the statement from Lyon. Nicolas Shearer, my man, back again in the news with this time backed by Fabrizio Romano, and he has said, I will quote, Arsenal have made a very, very important bid to sign Dusan Vlahovic, 55 million euros plus Lucas Torreira. He has also said and added, they have made this bid to a player who is not yet interested in the team, and the agent is procrastinating the deal, hoping for better projects, hoping for bigger teams to actually arrive in this deal. He has said it all. Absolutely. Look, there's so many rumors flying around. This story, big up to Gazzetta dello Sport, because they broke this story, and I'm gonna give them all the credit they deserve. Yesterday, they broke the story and said a fresh bid has been made by Arsenal, to Fiorentina, and it looks like it's gonna be a player plus cash, or you would call it a swap deal, including cash on top of it. Lucas Torreira valued at around 15 million euros, and the 55 million euros that Arsenal added on top of that. Now, what we do understand, and I did get this from the big, from the Big C Catty show yesterday, that this lad is actually earning only 2,500 per week. That is very, very little. That is very, very little. Dusan Vlahovic earns less money than Alexander Runarsson on Arsenal. That is that's a big chance for Arsenal to exploit that gap. Of course, it's a big question. How much should we be able to? Should we be giving him? Should we give him 200k per week? Should we give him 300k per week? It's a very, very big question, because again, he's a young player, 21 years of age. Should we be splashing lots of money like that on such a on such a young player? In my opinion, if there is no way to get him at Arsenal, and the money can't, because money never fails to move anything. If money can't get him at Arsenal, then definitely let's do that. I mean, what we have to do is give him his salary, 10 times. It's as simple as that. Give him his salary 10 times. He's earning 2,500 at Fiorentina. Come on, can you imagine that? Of course, he has already rejected that very, very big offer that Fiorentina prepared. He said, no, I'm not really taking that. I want to leave in the summer, and I'm not going to sign a new deal. I will stay with Fiorentina until the summer, take you to Champions League, take you to Europe, and that will be the end of me. Between me and Fiorentina, that will be the end. Now, Nicola Shearer there, my man, confirming that Arsenal have actually put in that bid. But Romano, even making things better, you know what he said? He said, for Arsenal, the argument between them and Fiorentina, that is not a problem. The work we are looking at, the big task we have to do is to convince the agent, to convince the player, to convince them to buy and accept our project at the moment. That is the work that we have to do at the moment. Romano there has already confirmed that there is nothing in terms of an argument between Fiorentina and Arsenal that will be a problem, because Fio do want to sell in January. They want to sell the plane. They want him to go in January. They're telling him, please leave this January so that we can get some good money in the summer. We are not sure we are going to get 55 million euros plus a player. We are not even sure we can get 45 million euros in the summer plus a player. I think it's a very, very good deal for Fiorentina. They get a player that they really, really like so much. A player that is one of the reasons why they're doing, I don't know whether you're doing well or you're doing poorly in the Italian Serie A. But what I can confirm is that Lucas Torreira is one of the key players at Fiorentina at the moment. So they get Lucas Torreira, that is one, but also they get alongside that they get 55 million euros for a player whose contract runs down next summer. That is a whisker of luck. That is really, really, really lucky from Fiorentina. And you can see them, they do not want to bottle this. They don't want to do bottle jobs. They want to do something that is really, really in line with that. So in January, they're very, very set to sell the player to Arsenal. That is what I understand. But of course, the player there is still really, really not fascinated by our project and is looking to stay at Fiorentina until the end of season. Take them back to Champions League. Something I doubt Fiorentina are really interested in Champions League or Europa League. Yes, they will get some money when they go there. They'll be getting some money, by through qualification, and things like that. But I think not the money they'll be getting by selling Dusan Vlahovic in January. Arsenal want him as early as immediately. That is what I understand. They want him as early as immediately. Confirmed by Gazzetta dello Sport, confirmed by Nicola Shearer and my man Fabrizio Romano. Let's then move on, lads, to what is happening elsewhere. Because according to Fabrizio Romano, yes, it is a done deal. Ainsley Maitland-Niles has signed for Roma and everything will be finalized in the next hours. Roma have taken the man on loan. It is a dry loan. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic from these lads. Roma, of course, were valuing the player at only 8 million euros. They're so pathetic. But of course, I do understand, and I cannot really side with them. I have to side with my with my team, Arsenal, because I was born an Arsenal supporter. I've grown up an Arsenal supporter, and I will die an Arsenal supporter. So I have to side with my team. And I'm gonna say that money they're giving us in Ainsley Maitland-Niles, a player that's not really played a lot of football, but of course we know how much a talent is. He's so versatile as a player. Can play for you in the midfield, can play for you at right back, and also can play for you at left back. You really can't just give us 8 million euros after taking him on loan. It is not even straight money. After taking him on loan, you want to pay him, you want to pay us 8 million euros, and that is an option, not even an obligation. Now Arsenal have said, look, Roma, yes, you want to take the player, you want to give him game time, and I think this is a very, very good deal from Arsenal, because it just confirms there, it falls into my hands that we will be getting in a new midfielder. Very, very brilliant from Cossy. Thank you, Roma. You've really, really done it for me. But one thing I'm going to say about Arsenal, it's a very, very good deal. Do not give that man to Roma for 8 million euros, because if he goes to Roma and he does well, they will either have to give us 15 or 20 million euros instead of the 12 million euros they would have chosen to pay. But also, if he does well, then he can come back at the Emirates Stadium and we can sell him to another club in the Premier League for good money. We know how much Everton have been interested in Ainsley Maitland-Niles. So in the summer, you never know. They could come back and anything like that. Where Arsenal will receive 500k in terms of it's called what? It's called bonuses. Yeah, it's called bonuses. It's called loan bonuses and loan fees, right? So it's going to be 500k in terms of loan fees, and 500k as well, 500,000 pounds in terms of bonuses. That is how the deal is going to be structured. It is a dry deal. It's a dry loan deal. No option to buy. No obligation to buy. That one I can confirm. Then, lads, let's move on, lads, to what is happening there around Newcastle and Arsenal. Why do they always appear in the news? With Arsenal. Why are they always linked with us? I mean, I don't understand. But again, lads, we can confirm today that Newcastle want for signings. If you've watched me on 99 Sport yesterday, I did do that story. I said Newcastle are really, really optimistic they can get in a midfielder, a striker, and in total, they want 4 signings, and they hope Eddie Howe will be having at least 4 signings by the end of January. Kieran Trippier has already signed for them. Of course, it's a done deal. They've really, really, really done a very, very good deal in terms of that. Newcastle, congratulations. I think that's a very, very good deal. But of course, they're not ending at that. They plan to rate Arsenal for around 4 players. Number 1 is captain, ex-captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is wanted by Newcastle. That much we know. Talks have been held between Arsenal and Newcastle. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is very, very quiet about his transfer situation, but one I can confirm is that they want him. Newcastle, the Geordies, do want him, and they might actually take him in January. Mohamed Elneny is also part of that list. Of course, it's not new. They've always wanted him. Eddie Howe, does he really want him? Mohamed Elneny? I'm not really sure about that. I'm not really very, very sure about that. But what I can confirm there, lads, is that he's among the 4 players that have been linked with Newcastle today. Rob Holding as well. They wanted him at the beginning of the season. Arsenal said, door shut, we are not giving you Rob Holding. And of course, they also wanted him last summer, and Arsenal said, door shut, we are not giving you Rob Holding. So what is happening at the moment, lads, is that Rob Holding is now a transfer priority for Leeds, for Newcastle, especially with the fact that Steven Botman will not be leaving Lille Metropole this January to join them. They've tapered a 35 million euro bid, and Lille said, we are really not interested. Come on, we are not interested. Come on, yeah, you're not interested. Thank you. Yeah. So that is it, lads. So it looks like Rob Holding is the centre back they're gonna be looking at. I've not really done one signing that Newcastle should do, but if I was to do one signing Newcastle need, I think they do need in a centre back, and I would really suggest Rob Holding in that case. But they also want Eddie Nketiah on top of that. They just want someone who can help out Callum Wilson with getting the goals and things like that. I think Eddie Nketiah would be a very, very good player. I've suggested in that video once one player that should sign for any team. I said Brighton should be going for Eddie Nketiah because they have problems with crossing the line. The ball crossing the line is their problem, the same as Wolves. If they can get in a player like Eddie Nketiah, that would be very, very massive. And of course, lads, what do you want? Of course, lastly, Liverpool are appealing so that our Carabao Cup semi-final fixture tomorrow is postponed. Now, what is happening is that Liverpool are saying that they're experiencing many cases of COVID-19, but of course they have also lost Sadio Mane. They have also lost Salah. They have lost Keita. They have lost a couple of players have they lost? Some of them have gone to AFCON. So what is happening is that Liverpool have made an appeal to the FA that this fixture should be postponed until further notice. It is still very, very debatable, and that is why I've not done a preview until now. I do not know fixture cancelled, fixture back, but of course if the fixture comes back, there are high chances that Mikel Arteta as well will be on the touch. And of course, in the last game against Manchester City, it was a huge blow. We were about to win that game. We were about to beat those Lumpians, but somehow the absence of a manager also affected us, and we didn't get the full points. But of course, I do not worry because Mikel Arteta is set to be back. Because he's set to be back on the touchline. Yes, he's set to be back. The Athletic have also said that Mikel Arteta is one of the managers. Yes, one of the managers that are being looked at Manchester City as potential replacements of Pep Guardiola. I was weakened when they said that. I was weakened. But listen still, lads. I think they're looking at Mikel Arteta and his development as a manager. In the last 1 year, in the last 6 months, he's really developed well as a manager. He has stopped making those stupid, ridiculous decisions that are really biased. He has stopped making errors that are really avoidable, and he has started being a little bit of a proper manager. So Manchester City are there looking at Mikel Arteta. Let me know, because we will discuss this at 4. We will be discussing Mikel Arteta. And do you think we should be letting him go right now that the project has started evolving? I'll speak to you right in the next one. My name is Cossy. Hit the like button. Let's get this to 500 likes.